Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ninja Knight. Please like, share and subscribe to this video and to my channel. That would be absolutely fantastic and I'd appreciate that. So today we have an article from Bounding at the Comics. So Bounding at the Comics, again, fantastic resource that actually focuses on what the fans want to see rather than beating the fans down and telling them, oh, we don't want to see this, when in fact they do. So as I've discussed in the previous video, AT&T have bought over Warner Brothers and they're pushing forward projects that people and especially fans want to see. I mean, fans want to see the Snyder cut. They want to see how Snyder's world pans out, and give him the opportunity to realize his full vision. As far as I know, he had a 5 movie arc for these characters, and these characters were supposed to start off as a year one point of view and then move in then to the characters that we know and love. But I find that patience is a virtue, and unfortunately it's lacking in entertainment at the moment, with especially with the Marvel movies. The Marvel movies unfortunately have kind of given near the instant gratification that by the end of one movie the character is kind of completed their arc and there's nothing really much more to see. Similarly, I would point towards Black Panther. I mean, Black Panther in himself has, there's nothing more to see with him after, you know, we're introduced to him being Black Panther already. So what else do we need to see insofar as why does he need to be challenged, etc. Same with Captain Marvel. We already start out and seeing her movie as she's ultimately powerful. She didn't learn anything throughout that movie, nothing, and she just became instantly more powerful and then god tier powerful. So that's the problem. Whereas with Superman here, we're seeing he has flaws, he has problems, and this is what I wanted to see personally in my Superman. And I think Superman is very well represented by Henry Cavill. Up until now, Tom Welling was my Superman. I grew up in Smallville. Again, I've ultimate respect for Christopher Reeve and what he did, but for a modern audience, particularly, I think Tom Welling was wonderful, and then Henry Cavill to me is Superman, like he just is. So Zack Snyder reacts to evil Superman, discusses Man of Steel's resurrection and Justice League. Fans, the real die-hard fans who fought for it, especially, can't wait to see Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League. I am on tender hooks for that. I cannot wait to see that. Even so, he's faced criticism for his characterization of Superman, beginning with Man of Steel in 2003. As much as they like Henry Cavill, the Man of Steel he played under Snyder's guiding hand is frequently rebuked as morally ambivalent and also evil. Well, this is the thing, and this is what makes this Superman so interesting. He does have hard choices to make. He has a hard choice whether to choose his people or to choose the people of Earth. Ultimately, he chooses the people of Earth. He's not too concerned about collateral damage in the first movie, and that's where the movies we're supposed to graduate and kind of evolve from there, to have Superman become very present and very mindful of other people and destruction. And the fact that he killed Zod was a massive point of contention. But I think when you look at that movie, you realise that he ultimately does have to kill Zod, because Zod tells him he will never stop. He will lay waste to the planet, and Clark Kal-El, Superman, can't have that. And that's what Superman is about, in my opinion. So Grace Randolph talked to the director, where he addressed the creative choices he made with The Last Son of Krypton across 3 movies, be they his or meddling by Studios X. Snyder confessed he isn't sure he was driven by the allure of seeing a darker Superman as much as wanting to take the first superhero on a journey. Do I love the evil Superman? I'm not 100% if that's true, he said. Other than that, I will say I love the idea of Superman going on a journey with his character. Snyder continued, stating his interest was grounding Supes and having him reconcile with things of this world. He explained, I love the idea of Superman having to reconcile his morality, reconcile his place on Earth, reconcile his love affair with Lois, and how that affects the way he relates to humanity, and all of those things, as we all do with the normal relationships we all have in our daily lives. So I think when you see Superman grapple with those things, he becomes a lot more relatable. Absolutely. The Russos have actually recently stated that they wouldn't know what to do with Superman, and this was why I absolutely love the movie Man of Steel, and particularly Batman vs Superman also. Man of Steel definitely grounded Superman and definitely made him relatable, because he did have these problems. He did have issues that he had growing up. He had issues as he was growing through his life, and to see Superman have to hold back his power, have to not fully realise who he is until pretty much the end of the movie, to me it's an amazing feat that Zack Snyder accomplished, and I think in years to come he's going to be seen as the master visionary that he is. I mean, his Watchmen movie again was fantastic in my opinion. When Randolph responded that's dark for Superman, Snyder further explained, when I see Superman having to go figure out what to do, I can go like, now if I was Superman, there is a pinnacle, he continued, because Superman is such an abstract character in his powers and what he's able to do. At any time when you kind of bring him back down to earth, he becomes a lot more relatable. And I think that was more interesting. but I do have huge respect for his moral code. And I think his ultimate place as sort of top of the pyramid of the DC superhero world. In the end, he has to achieve that pinnacle Snyder added. So again, we're seeing what Snyder was trying to do. He was trying to start them off as kind of having issues and problems, and then become that character that other characters look to, that they go, he's the guy that we want to emulate. I mean, that's what Shazam is all about. Shazam ultimately wants to emulate Superman, because Superman is just this pinnacle of being. And this is what these movies have to be about. It has to be about the journey. People, the audience, have to relate to these characters. And again, I'm going to come back on and say it. That's why Captain Marvel wasn't really well liked. There was nothing relatable about her. I mean, there very, very, very little in that movie was absolutely relatable about her. Where Superman, you feel his pain. You feel the pain of him having to lose his Earth father and Pa Kent. You feel the pain of him having to think about Lois Lane and other people and other humans as well after the fact then of Man of Steel and his mother. In fact, one of my favourite scenes in Man of Steel is when Zod threatens Ma Kent and Kal-El comes through and he says, "You won't threaten my mother." I mean, that is just, it is a human aspect to that there, and he gets so angry about it, and I love it. That's something I really love about Henry's Superman. Asked if he thinks Superman was headed to that pinnacle with his storytelling, Snyder replied, "I always felt like that was what I was doing." Allegedly, Snyder had planned originally to take time and flesh out Superman's growth across 5 movies, including Man of Steel 2 and Justice League sequels. Superman would have evolved into the Boy Scout comic readers and devotees of the Christopher Reeve version are accustomed to, and dealt with the fallout of the death of Jimmy Olsen, among other casualties of his heroics. A big moment of truth for Superman in Snyder's story was coming back from the dead, as the Man of Steel did in the 90s. He was promptly brought back in the theatrical release of the Justice League, but not the way Snyder intended. Cavill would have worn the black costume, as seen in some photos, and had a deeper subplot of self-discovery and that important reconciliation factor. Snyder wanted to explore what returning from the grave does, aside from making them a zombie out of Dawn of the Dead, hungry for flesh and brains. Brilliant. Teasing answers contained in the Snyder quote, the filmmaker posed these questions. In fact, it was really fun because now with the resurrection theme and concept, who is he now? What is he? When you touch the eternal in the sense of that coming back from the grave, how are we changed by that? Snyder's Cut is coming on HBO Max in 2021. I cannot wait to see this. And this is a thing that we need to realise. I mean, Snyder understands, and especially you can see it in Man of Steel with the amount of call-outs that he does, is that Superman ultimately is a Christ-like figure. He's supposed to emulate Jesus. He performs the crucifix pose when he comes out of Zod's ship in Man of Steel. He comes back from the dead and becomes this enlightened character, this character that he isn't ultimately worried about things anymore. He becomes that pinnacle that people strive towards and they see. I think a lot of people forget that about Superman, and especially as well in Man of Steel when he goes and one of my scenes, another favorite scene of mine in Man of Steel is when he goes and speaks to the priest, and he's in his 30s again, emulating Christ himself. Comes from a kind of farm, kind of hard working, hand working dad, stepdad. There's all these little things that harken back to Jesus, and this is one thing that I think is absolutely majorly important for Superman, is that he becomes that figure that we all know and love, and he does that through coming back from the dead, as Snyder is saying there, and then reevaluating what he's about, who he's about. And this is something that I think again harkens back as well to Jesus. Jesus did the same thing when he rose from the dead. So I think it's an interesting. I'm very interested to see where this goes, and I think Snyder is right on the money, and I would absolutely love to see Snyder's universe continue for as long as he wants to do it. I certainly think that's the way forward, and I think if AT&T are listening to fans, I think that's what they will do. There's major potential for this, and I think, again, in Evil Superman, we've seen James Gunn kind of rip it off for his movie there that he did not too long ago, and James Gunn isn't a character I would ever really, I wouldn't ever support now ever again, given what he did in his tweets and the people he communicated with, for example. But I would support anything and everything that Zack Snyder does, and I certainly hope going forward that Zack Snyder gets what he deserves, which is to see his vision fully realised and to see Superman finally become that person that people know and love. And I have to be honest, while I agree that I think Christopher Reeve is fantastic, I think we should be open to new interpretations of these characters. We can't just keep falling back on, well, Tobey Maguire was the first person to play Spider-Man, that's how it should be. No, it shouldn't. You know, we should be open to these new interpretations. Christopher Reeve is the first Superman that people were really, really gravitating towards. That's great, and people can have that, and people should enjoy that. But they have to open up to new interpretations like Henry Cavill's. And I just love Henry Cavill's Superman, and I wish him all the best. And the fact that he reads forums, that he engages with fans, that he is a fan in and himself, I think he really deserves as much credit and a crack at the whip as much as possible whilst he's here. And I think he's doing a phenomenal job, and I wish him the best. Anyway, that's my video for today. Please like, share and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.